Dungeons and Dragons and Daughters.
Welcome everyone to another breathtaking Out of the Dungeon episode for Dungeons and Dragons and Daughters. I'm Kurt, Daddy the Dungeon Master. To my left we have
Sam, and I play Mimi, the druid elf who's the leader of the Three Musketeers. And to my left we have nobody.
To my right we have
Galaxy, also known as Birdie.
Birdie, who plays Galaxy, that elf wizard.
Yes.
So, for anyone that is new to our podcast and show, these are episodes that we do every now and again. We come up out of the basement and we just record these on my phone. Nothing too official with these. It's just this is an opportunity for us to go over the character sheets, the changes that have happened to them. The girls' characters have leveled up to level 8. Level 8. So we're not actually going to be playing D&D in this episode. We're just going to be going over some of the mechanics, because one of the reasons why we started doing the show is because we wanted to learn how to play Dungeons and Dragons, and we thought that these would be informative episodes to help other people learn how to play Dungeons and Dragons as well. So, along those lines, we are actually going to be running our first promotion, and we're going to be starting with the theme of new players. So, we're going to be running this promotion until May 31st, 2019, because that coincides with our 2-year anniversary of doing this show. Can you believe that we've almost been doing this for 2 years?
I was in second grade when we did this.
That's right. You had just turned 8. when we started doing this, and you two are 2 whole hands of 10 now.
Tiny. We were this short, right?
Yeah, we had to record you on boosters.
Yes, boosters. We sat on boosters.
All right. So now for the promotion, what are we doing? What are we giving away?
We're doing fan art.
No, we're not doing fan art.
We're selling dogs.
We are not selling dogs.
We are selling books.
We are not selling anything. What we were going to do is that we were going to have a contest in the theme of new players, is that we were going to be giving away a copy of the D&D 5th edition Player's Handbook, or the Dungeon Master's Guide, or the Monster Manual. So the winner gets to choose which of the 3 D&D 5th edition core books that they would like to receive as their prize. The reason for that is because, well, for one, I wanted to promote new players to D&D, because there's just not enough people. Even though we are in the golden age of Dungeons and Dragons right now, I still think everyone should play, and they should play with their kids and their families.
Because it's a good game.
Darn tootin'.
Laughter. How do I enter into the contest?
Thank you for asking, Birdie. I was just about to get to that.
I mean, I would like to win the player's handbook.
You already have a player's handbook.
Well, then I would like a Dungeon Master's Guide.
Well, you can't enter.
Why?
You can't enter because you are on the show. So, hold on. So to enter, you need to follow us or like us on one of our social media accounts, and then mention us using the hashtag DDD Daughters Podcast. That's DDD AUGHTERS PODCAST. DD Daughters Podcast.
I would suggest writing this down.
It's a bit of a mouthful for the hashtag, so make sure that you get it right. I will post this all over our social media. We're on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So as long as you put it on one of those, that will count for your entry. We are only doing 1 entry per person. So if you spam it and you use the hashtag a lot, we thank you for the extra promotion of the show, but that will only enter you into the contest once.
Once.
Right.
Oh man,
so then,
thank you anyways.
Yeah, and we will announce the winner on May 31st, and at that time we will reach out over social media to get the winner's contact information, find out where to send their choice of book 2.
And we're hopefully going to do another contest for fan arts. Let's get drawn.
Well, we still got to work out the details on that. We'll get to that another time. Okay, so let's get into it.
Yeah.
Galaxy. Couple things.
This terrible sheet.
Yeah, look at that character sheet.
Look at mine. Mine is terrible.
I think these character sheets are going to have to be retired soon. Not the characters themselves, just the sheets. We've got new ones that we could transfer the information over on.
Can you do No, but this is history.
We will frame it.
2 years.
2 years.
Of history.
I'm surprised the character sheets lasted this long.
It is on every single sheet.
All right, Galaxy. You now have 38 whopping hit points.
My corgi's stronger.
For being a wizard, you get 38 hit points.
Bleh.
Also, your intelligence went up to 18. This now gives you a +4 modifier that you get to use on all your saving throws that are in intelligence based.
I get a +7 for intelligence?
You sure do. You get that +4 of intelligence on all of your skills that are intelligence based. That gets thrown in there too.
I am so smart.
Not bad, but that was the big boost. And because of that boost, intelligence also gets worked into your spellcasting ability. So now your spell save difficulty class is +17. So whenever you cast a spell on someone and they've got to roll against it, they got to get a 17 or higher. That's a super duper high spell save DC, especially at being level 8. But part of that is because you have that Wand of the War Mage that actually gives you a +2 on that. So that's a pretty good deal. Also increased your spell attack bonus. So whenever you're doing an attack spell, you get to add +8 to it. Then last, but certainly not least, you got 2 more spells. You got a spell called... Okay, you want to say it?
I say it.
Okay.
So, I'm going to speak very clearly. The first one I got is a level 4 spell, and it is called Dimension 4?
Is what?
4. Dimension 4 or 4?
Door.
Oh. That was
Dimension Door.
Dimension Door. And then my other level 4 spell is Greater Invisibility. Even though I never use invisibility, at least I have invisibility for my whole thingy of attack.
Okay, so Dimension Door. This is a level 4 spell that allows you to travel up to 500 feet from one location to another. You can carry a bunch of stuff with you when you do it, and you can even take one extra person with you as well. So it's a more powerful transport spell compared to ones that you might have had access to before now.
So what I'm planning to do with that spell, so I'm going to put Frankenstein Corgi, boom, in my unicorn butt backpack because he can't breathe. And I'll bring along Abby.
Abby will not fit in your unicorn butt backpack, but you would be able to carry her in your arms.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
And use Dimension Door to transport yourself and Abby and Boom from one location to another. Yes.
And I know.
The last spell, Greater Invisibility. You have an invisibility spell, as you say, you never used it much. Greater Invisibility, what this allows you to do is it allows you to turn yourself invisible, and then you can still attack and move and cast spells while you're invisible.
I'm invisible.
Regular invisibility, it only lets you turn invisible. As soon as you attack something or you cast a spell, you become visible again. Greater invisibility allows you to stay invisible and do all of that stuff at the same time.
I'm invisible. Pew, pew, yay.
That's right. That's right. It's just the one thing to keep in mind with it is that it is a concentration spell. So that means that if you cast another concentration spell, it ends your invisibility. Or if someone does accidentally manage to hit you or attack you, then you have to roll to keep your concentration, which is a Constitution check.
Like I forget in what game. Well, it's a Bed Wars in Minecraft. If you have invisibility potion and someone hits you, or at least your visibility wears off, they see you.
Not with this spell.
I know it doesn't
Yep.
wear off.
If you
but
if you get hit, then you have a chance to keep your concentration by rolling a Constitution check. Now, the one thing with this, I think it only lasts for a minute, so it doesn't last that
the
long.
invisibility potion.
No, the spell. So it's only a minute.
Boo!
I know, but that's still like 10 rounds of combat. That if you were to use this. Yep, it's concentration up to 1 minute.
Oh.
So it's 1 minute, but that's 10 rounds of combat that you'd be able to use this of shooting out a bunch of other spells at people and they can't see you. So that's Galaxy. All right.
We're going over to the perfect, beautiful, better than Galaxy today.
We're going to go over to the perfectly adequate, you'll do, you're all right, Mimi. All right, Mimi. You now have 64 hit points.
Yeah!
You
I got way more than
the wizard. Yes, everyone should have way more than the wizard.
What?
Your wisdom score has also been bumped up to 18.
And my perception, I just noticed, is +7.
Yep, perception is +7. Yep, because
It's a
that uses wisdom. So just like with Birdie, all of your saving throws and all your skills that use your wisdom, all of those got bumped up.
Ooh,
Then also,
I got
it
the
means
spell.
your spell save difficulty class goes up to +15.
Do I have a new armor class?
No, you do not. Your spell attack bonus goes up to +7 now. You got one new spell.
And it is Wall of Fire.
Wall of Fire. It's a it's an offensive spell, but can also be used defensively, and there's a lot of great utility that goes along with that spell.
So I can make a dome around the crew, and then anyone who tries going in it.
Not a dome, a circle.
Sir.
A donut. A donut.
I can have a donut.
It would just be really. It would be a really spicy donut.
That's a hot sauce.
Yep. So, but then the biggest, well, not the biggest change, but a real big change is that now your animal shape, because you're a druid,
fly. I can fly.
because Mimi
can fly.
because Mimi is a druid, she gets to turn into animals. But up until now, she could only turn into animals a certain size that could go on land or could swim. But now she can turn into beasts that can fly.
I can be a black dragon.
No, you cannot.
Why?
They're too big, and you can only turn into beasts. So this is where it starts to get a little nuanced in the rules. So you can only turn into creatures that are considered beasts, which are animals.
A dragon's a beast.
A dragon is a monster.
What?
So like a griffin, you can't turn into a griffin, and griffin is considered a monster.
No! You said in the last episode I can be a griffin.
I thought you could, but when I just looked it up, and it's not considered a beast.
Well, can I be a dinosaur that flies?
You can be a dinosaur. I don't know if they have in the stat blocks if it's a dinosaur that flies or not.
It's a thesaurus? Well, what are some
Dinosaur.
things that I can turn into that fly?
So the thing that you can turn into that can fly is, I wrote it down here. This creature is the best creature that you can turn into right now that flies, and it is a giant eagle. So it's an eagle, but it's a giant. The name is self-explanatory.
Can I turn it? I got Pegasus at the zoo. Can I turn into a Pegasus?
Let's.
Yeah, you totally did with my unicorn. No, but unicorns can't.
Let's look up Pegasus. I think Pegasus might not be considered a beast. That might be considered like a creature of some sort.
But a creature is a beast.
No, well,
I saw.
There it is. Pegasus, large. It's considered a celestial.
What is that?
It's kind of a angel or godlike creature.
Oh. Yeah.
So no, not one of those. Should I look up unicorn?
Yeah. Oh my.
Unicorn is a celestial as well.
No, what if I summon? Ready?
Yep.
A unicorn. Okay?
You can't.
And then I turn in a unicorn!
No, I believe that your summon creature spell or is a summon animals. What is the name of that spell?
What about a
Conjure animals. It specifically says conjure animals. So a Pegasus and a unicorn are not
What about a
technically
flying lion?
animals.
Can I turn into a flying lion?
Have you ever seen a flying lion?
At the zoo.
No, you have not seen a flying
I
lion.
want a flying lion. I will summon one. I will summon a flying lion.
Not the way it works, kiddo. Sorry.
No, but I saw one at the zoo. I was there. She signed.
Okay. All right. So Dave.
But I saw one.
That's great.
Yeah, so I can turn into
No.
it. Awesome!
It doesn't matter if you saw it. You still can't turn into it because you can only turn into animals.
That's
And it's not considered an animal. That'd be considered a monstrosity or some sort of... It would be considered a monster.
Why is it in the monster manual? Why is a unicorn in it? Why a Pegasus?
Because those are technically monsters. In fact, there's a section in the back of the monsters manual for non-monster creatures that you could turn into, and that's where the giant eagle is under.
But that's a creature! But I also want other flying animals.
Well, you could turn into a robin. You could turn into...
You can turn into Robin!
You could turn into a duck.
A duck went up to the limit standards. No, you get copyrighted.
All right, so that's Mimi.
What? Don't you want to talk about Mimi? No, just me.
No, okay, so now
Mimi,
Dave,
Mimi.
real quick, he's got
that's
six.
copyright.
Dave or Deb, he's got 60 hit points now, so a little less than Mimi.
Yeah.
His wisdom went up to 18 as well, so he has the same wisdom as you, which improves his spell save DC and spell attack bonus. Now, one additional thing that Dave got is that he got this thing called Divine Strike. So that means when Dave uses his mace, he can infuse it with additional holy energy that allows him to do an extra... Yep, exactly. Okay. It allows Dave to do an additional 1d8 of damage once per round on his attack. So he can actually do this with his crossbow if he wanted to, or with his spiritual weapon, I think. Actually, now I need to double check that. It might have to be a real weapon for him to do it. But I'll double check the rules that are on that. But it allows him to do an extra 1d8 of damage when he attacks something per round. Dave also got a new spell called Stone Shape. This spell allows Dave to open up holes in stone.
And then I can turn into the stone.
You could...
And fill it up.
You've got a spell called Meld into Stone.
I know I can turn into stone.
So, but he can actually control stone. So he can make like a statue out of stone, or he can make a hole in
He can make
stone.
a statue of me,
He-
and I can make a town, and we will go town.
Yes.
Wait, he is Sam's. Well, like Mimi is a stone. Could he move Mimi? Wait, no.
No, he would.
He's bad.
Well, well, actually, if you were to meld into stone, Dave could technically go up to that stone and cause it to melt, which might cause you some damage. We'd have to look at the details. Hold on. So that's Dave. But one other thing that I forgot about is that we should probably talk about Boom. Yeah, so normally that's what a flesh golem is supposed to look like. But you made a flesh golem out of dog and corgi parts, so your flesh golem is going to be much cuter than that.
Yeah, because I don't like him.
But Boom is going to have an armor class of 9, not that great. He's not that fast. He doesn't have that great of a dexterity.
He's dumb.
So he's fairly easy to hit, but he has 93 hit points. So out of everyone in the group, he has the most amount of hit points. However, Boom will be immune to, check this out, lightning, poison, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical attacks not made with adamantine weapons. So that means any kind of attacks that are done on him that's not a magical weapon does no damage.
I love you, Boom! Boom is my pet!
Boom is immune to being charmed, exhausted, frightened, paralyzed, petrified, and poisoned.
So it can't be those either?
Yep, can't do any of that.
Yes, so it can't be charmed. He doesn't like her.
Yep, Boom also has dark vision out to 60 feet.
Yes.
And Boom doesn't know any languages, but it can understand when you talk to it.
Can he understand Abby?
No, he cannot.
Because dogs can't understand their
So
dog.
for attacking, Boom actually would run up and slam things with its paws and its head. So the one thing I want to point out with Boom is that he's not going to be the size of a regular corgi. He's going to be quite a bit bigger.
No. Be the size of a corgi.
I feel like I need to make him twice the size of a corgi.
No.
No? All right, fine. He's the size of a corgi.
Yeah.
With all the same stats. Can I make him chunkier? No. Okay, fine. Okay.
Are you serious?
So Boom gets
It's gonna make him smarter.
He gets 2 slam attacks. These are done with +7 to hit with a reach of 5 feet, and they each do 2d8 plus 4 bludgeoning damage.
I love you.
Now, one thing to keep in mind is, I told you about this before, but I'll mention this here, is that if Boom gets hit with lightning, the lightning damage he's immune to, and in fact it actually heals him.
What?
So if he took a bunch of damage, you could actually hit him with a lightning bolt and it will heal him for that amount of hit points. But one thing that's not great about Boom is that he's scared of fire.
He's a little wimp.
Right, so if Boom takes any fire damage, it will have disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until its next turn.
Unless I heal him.
He still takes the penalties. He'll take the damage and the penalties. You can heal him, but he'll still take the penalties until his next turn. Also, when Boom starts his turn with 40 hit points or fewer, you have to roll a d6. If you roll a 6, then Boom goes berserk. So, here, let me read this to you. So then, on each of its turns, while berserk, the golem attacks the nearest creature it can see. That includes our friends. If it's the closest one, Boom will attack them. If no creature is near enough to move and attack, the golem attacks an object. With preference for an object smaller than itself. Once the golem goes berserk, it continues to do so until it is destroyed or regains all its hit points. So if you're able to heal it back to its hit points, then it'll stop going berserk.
So this is how it is.
So the golem's creator, if within 60 feet of the berserk golem, you can try to calm it by speaking firmly and persuasively. The golem must be able to hear its creator, which is you, who must take an action to make a DC 15 charisma persuasion check. So you need to make a persuasion check to calm Boom down.
It's okay, Boom. It's okay. It's not okay, you better figure it.
If the check succeeds, the golem ceases being berserk. If it takes damage while still at 40 hit points or fewer, the golem might go berserk again. So that's a lot to remember, but we'll try and remind you of that while you use Boom in our upcoming adventures.
And if you're listening, remind us.
They're not going to be able to remind us while we're playing. So I think that's it for now. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching. But as a reminder, again, we're going to be running the contest until May 31st, 2019. Follow or like us on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, and mention us using the hashtag DDD Daughters Podcast, and you'll get entered into our very first contest to win one of the core rulebooks for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Dungeons and Dragons and Daughters is a proud member of the Block Party Podcast Network. Check out our other shows such as Detentions and Dragons, Dungeon Master Block, Geek Wars, and more.